Welcome to In Moderation,
the show where we give you a moderate dose of info, sarcasm, and we already know we're not approved.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the podcast episode, I want to say 11. Is that right?
And you would be correct.
Yes, let's go. I remember what episode we're on. I didn't ask
I'm
before.
the 11th.
I'm of myself. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 11 of In Moderation. I also remember the name. Today we have a guest on that does content a little bit different than ours. So, people might not be as much aware of him as some of our other guests. So today we have Raiden Cage. Raiden, why don't you give a little bit about yourself and kind of what you do and what we're in for today?
I coach. I graduated from Rutgers with a criminal bachelor's degree. I am Raiden Cage. I've been posting content on TikTok for when did the pandemic start?
I know you've been doing this for a while, but what kind of content?
So wait. You have a criminal bachelor's degree.
Criminal bachelor's degree.
And you're a coach. Does that mean you coach Bobby?
This is how he's been getting away with so many things. That makes it makes so much sense now.
No, I'm
no
okay.
Comment. I will neither confirm nor deny client attorney privileges.
He pleads the fifth.
No. But no, I have a criminal justice bachelor's degree from Rutgers. I coach for just lifestyle stuff. I don't do shows or anything because I had no experience in that yet. But been posting on TikTok for what was 2020 now, since the pandemic, bro. Recording yourself in the mirror trying to talk to people, all the way to now making full on professional videos with so many moving parts.
Doing it a lot longer than I have. Quick, what's the mascot for Rutgers? We have to test him.
Isn't it a knight?
He's just
I wouldn't know.
I don't know what it is. I was just waiting for you to tell me.
The thing is that, I went through my whole 4 years of school just working, schooling, gymming, repeat. I never went to a football game. I never went to a party. I don't drink. I don't smoke.
Well, that's okay because American football sucks compared to Canadian
football. Those words shouldn't even go together, and somehow they do.
What is Canadian football?
So, but you do more fitness kind of TikTok. So you're more working out, exercise, that sort of stuff.
Everything, literally what my bio says, everything fitness.
Because for us, we do a little bit more when it comes to food and stuff. So I wanted to bring someone on who we could talk a little bit more about people who are kind of the whole idea behind this episode is I want to give you guys something to start off your fitness journey. You're like, okay, I kind of want to go to the gym, but I don't know anything. I need someone to talk to me like I'm in first grade and I have no clue what's going on. So I really, for this episode, want to give people just an unfuck-upable way to go to the gym and be yes, I can do these things because those guys that I listened to told me these things are good. That's the whole idea.
There are so many things on the app that, you guys deal with it all the time. Of straight up just, you look at it, and it's before you make content on it, right? Someone either tags you or you find it on the page and you look at it and you're just like, what the hell is this?
Absolutely, yeah. Because we deal with that stuff on the nutrition side, but there's an equal amount of stuff just on the fitness side. You got your V shreds and stuff.
I was just about to say V shred.
You got all those guys that are telling you got to work out for your somatotype, your body type, all that fun. We'll call it fun stuff. But really, we're the same. I want to give you guys something that you can use just to get started. So. Raiden, if someone came to you and they're okay, I want to start working out. I want to get healthy. What's the first thing that you would ask them?
If we look at, the clients that I've had and then other people that I've spoken to, whoever is a beginner and they don't know what they're doing, 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't say obese, but they're probably overweight, right?
Right.
So from the people that I see like that, when you have no experience whatsoever, or you have that I used to work out in high school experience, right? I usually tell them to forget everything you've ever known about training. Like you look at Chris Bumstead, we all watch Mr. Olympia. You look at Chris Bumstead, you see his workout training, he looks insane. But one of the reasons why I got into fitness was because I watch wrestling. I'm a WWE fan. I wanted to look like Triple H, bro. I used to look at the way that he works out, and I copied that verbatim when I first started, bro.
I think we've all gone through that a little bit. You find some magazines, some Muscle Mayhem, and he's holding like a giant tub of protein powder, just like chugging it, and you're like, "That's what I gotta do." That makes sense. We follow his exercises.
Most of the people who either come to me or would come to me, or they're just a beginner in the gym, that's the idea that I can relate with, that they have in the back of their head that I have to do what they're doing in order to achieve and look like them.
Okay.
All right. I forget how to do that.
Number one step would be, okay, let's forget everything you know. Let's just start with a blank slate. I think that's a good one because, there's just so much nonsense in telling the truth from falsehood, whatever. Get rid of all that. So,
and you are not that person.
Right.
Simply put, you are not that person.
Yeah.
No.
You don't have the years of training that they do. You're not going to be doing the same stuff as them.
This literally goes for the people who are just starting out. They're new. They're 14 years old, and they're watching Sam Sulek. Like, forget everything you know.
Let's say I'm that young person. I'm the person. I mean, the young person. I'm the old person. I'm the person who's really never been to the gym, and I come to you and I say, "Okay,
forget it.
All right, so I've forgotten everything. I forgot all of everything. What I want to do is I might want to lose a little bit of fat, and I want to gain a little bit of muscle. I think that's something that nearly anybody who's going to the gym starting off, they want to do that. So and forget about so obviously nutrition is very important when it comes to losing weight. We go over a lot of that stuff. I want to talk to you more about the fitness side. So give me, I want to build some muscle. I want
Step
to, what do I do now in terms of when I'm at the gym, when I'm going to the gym?
So let's go to step 2. Now that you forgot everything you've ever known.
I don't know any.
Now step 2, bro split.
You say bro split?
Bro split. I honestly, if I could go back, and I don't start my clients off like that. Normally, I give them a split and we change in here and there. And then, things are always subject to change to that specific person. But if you're completely new, and if I could go back and do it all over again, complete bro split, because I've injured my back so many times.
People who don't know what a bro split is.
A bro split is basically training one muscle group a day, excluding training just like biceps for one day. Like normally it's like chest one day, arms, which would include the shoulders, bicep, triceps, shoulders for day 2.
Calf day. We all skip calf day.
Most people might skip that. I wouldn't blame someone for skipping that in the beginning because it's like a bicep curl, point A to point B. Like you can't mess it up. But still try to do, I would say just do a bro split. If I can go back and do it all over again, it would completely be a bro split because I've injured my back so many times by trying to do a PPL and the Arnold split. At one point I was training twice a day. So
I want to give people like a quick kind of summary of the different splits, like the more popular ones. Okay, so you got your bro split, you got your body part split, as people call it, where you work different muscle groups, one a day.
Yeah.
And then you have, let's say, an upper-lower split, which you could probably just guess what that is. You work your upper body one day and your lower body the next day. What's an upper body exercise and a lower body exercise? I think you can figure that part out.
That's pretty self-explanatory.
That's pretty self-explanatory. You can figure that out. It's good. I think it's good for people who work out 2 days a week. If you're only working 2 days a week, if you're starting off, you're like, I can only have time to go for 2. I think that's great. Do upper body one day, do lower body the next day. See you later. Perfect. Then you have your what we call PPL, push-pull legs. This is the one that I do. I enjoy. You do all of your pushing exercises one day. That's going to be...
that's the one that I stuck with for 6 years. And that's probably given me the most growth of where I'm at now.
I enjoy it.
I swear by PPL a lot.
I love it. So let's if we all kind of use it, I think we should kind of give people a little bit, of what to expect. You do all your pushing exercises one day. So you think of bench press, you think of an overhead press where you have the dumbbells and you're pressing upwards. Any sort of press.
Where you're pushing the weight away from your body.
Away. So
that's exactly what I was about to say.
You push the weight away from you. Triceps, you're kind of pushing down. If you do a tricep extension, you're starting up and you're pushing down. So all of these will be your pushing exercises. Your pulling exercises, as the name would imply, are all the pulling exercises. You do your rows, you do your pull-ups. All of those are, bicep curls. You're pulling towards you. And then the last day you just do legs, which I think you can figure that out again. So you basically have these 3 days. I think it's good for people who work out 3 days a week. If you're designating 3 days to the gym, I think that's a good one. Or 6 generally, but most people aren't going to start off and go right to 6. I don't recommend that. So if you're doing 2 days a week, I think an upper lower is pretty good. If you're doing 3 days a week, I think push pull legs will work pretty well. And those are the kind
And if you're doing 4 days a week, push pull legs calves.
And you throw the calves in at the end. Because what do women always say? I just want a guy with beefy calves.
I mean, my calves are pretty decent. I got some slabs of meat there.
Yeah, right. So, but you kind of like a body part split right off the bat. That just kind of help with people just kind of get in tune with their own muscles and like kind of how, like, why do you like it so much?
The thing is that a beginner is going to grow no matter what.
Yes.
Right.
If there's new stimulus, there's going to, you sneeze in the gym, you're going to have biceps. Like, it's going to happen, bro. But I give him a bro split because a bro split, you can learn, okay, this is what a bicep curl is. This is what a tricep extension is. This is how to squat. This is how to deadlift. Is suboptimal stuff. But it's still stuff that I feel like these are the basis that you gotta at least know how to do in order to be able to do other movements in the gym.
Right. You're not making it too complicated for them.
Okay. So dumb it down, basically. I like that. Start off real basic. What's your take on like free weights versus like machines when you're starting off?
I actually posted a video on this a few weeks ago. Basically, the consensus of what I said was, in theory, not even in theory, like in practical applications, machines, in terms of building muscle more effectively, are going to be better. However, if you half rep or blow through an exercise on a machine, but on the barbell bench press, you're going balls to the wall, that barbell bench press is going to be a lot better in terms of growth for you than the machine. It's a give or take on certain things. Like on paper, machines are fantastic. But if you're not putting the effort in when you're doing machines, but you would on a barbell, then go to the barbell, enjoy the workout, and you're going to see more growth.
I feel like there's a lot of stigma. Is that the word I'm looking for? Stigma?
Sure.
For what?
Towards machines from some people.
Oh,
a lot of people like to think they're like they're for old people or stuff like that.
Functional training.
I think when you are starting out, machines are fantastic because you get in a machine and it's like, okay, this is where you start, this is where you end. And it gives you a little diagram and you're like, okay, as long as I start here and end here, and my form might not be perfect, it might not be the best, but it just takes you through a range of motion. Whereas free weights, it just takes more time to kind of figure out, what exactly you need to do. So I think starting off, machines are fantastic. You just, you can find ones you like. Usually gyms will have a few different types and you just go, and what's the best machine? The one that you feel the most comfortable with, the one that you enjoy the most, or the
brand matters too.
You could, you'll find things that you like, and everyone's different. So I think machines are great.
You know what also has a stigma around it? The Smith machine.
Oh my God, bro. I love the Smith machine.
Anybody who knows what they're doing loves the Smith machine.
If I literally posted a video on this 2 days ago saying if I could take Smithella home, I would.
Rob, what's a Smith machine? I have no idea. What's that?
So a Smith machine is a barbell attached to 2 guiding poles so that the bar it can't move. It can only move up and down.
Got one plane.
You cannot go in forward or backwards.
You'll see them at Planet Fitness a lot. Like Planet Fitness kind of goes away with all the free weights, and they just have the Smith machine. So if you go to one of those, that's what you'll mostly see there.
Oh yeah, dude! If you can just get away with it, do all your workout on the Smith machine. You can it's right there. That's a one size fit all for everything.
I see so many younger people that they look at the Smith machine and they think that it's only for girls.
Here's the thing, because we all look. I know for a fact we all go through this. You start off, man, Smith machine. That's for pussies, bro. You don't use a Smith machine. That's not that's
I
that's
only
not
do
very,
free weights. I only
yeah.
lift
I mean
concrete
free weights,
blocks.
but
That's the only thing I lift.
then you fall in love with the Smith machine, and you're like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Yep.
Like
Uh,
it's such a love-hate relationship.
okay.
But you like,
Okay, Rain, I have forgotten everything I know, and now I
yes,
have picked my split based off how many days a week I work and what, maybe I'm doing a bro split. Maybe I'm working out 2 days a week. I want an upper lower split. Whatever. I've decided on that. Okay, so I'm going to
okay.
the gym. What's the next step? What's 3, I guess, now?
Number 3 is start learning your body's range of motion. Some people can have certain flexibility in certain things. I had a friend back in high school where, we could all put our hands up into the air, but he did something to his shoulder in a football practice, and I don't know where he is now, but throughout most of his senior year in high school, you can't do a shoulder press in the gym. He can't physically put his arms up. So start studying how your body moves. Learn certain things. When I first started getting into fitness, before I touched weights, I started doing calisthenics because I thought, I wanted to be able to maneuver my body really well. So I did really well in that. But in doing so, that really did transfer over into, okay, I know what my biceps should be able to do. I know what my legs should be able to do. I know how deep I can go in a squat, right? So start learning how your body moves and study your range of motion.
It's something I like to say is every body is different.
Yes, 100%.
And so whenever you're watching a form video or something, that's a good overview, but you still have to tailor it to yourself, to what your limits are, to what your flexibility is, all these things.
We all have
Some people can't squat down to the floor. They have to put plates beneath their heels so that they can get deeper,
Yeah.
Everybody has their limitations, I think, in things that they do. So I think looking up videos on a specific exercise, like, oh, I don't really know how to do this. So you'll watch it and you'll say, okay, I'm supposed to do that. But when I do that, oh, my shoulder hurts real bad. Like my shoulder hurts like really, really
Exactly.
bad. Well, for you, that exercise might not be ideal. That range of motion might not be ideal. Do what, you have to. So you have to be uncomfortable to an extent to build muscle. Building muscle is an adaptation. You're kind of forcing your muscle into growing, but you don't want to feel pain, right? You don't want to feel like something as
Exactly.
that sort of thing is going awry.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. So I found some exercises now that I like these a little bit more. I don't feel pain during them. I'm going with these. What would you say is the next step?
After a certain period of time, you start getting bored of exercises, start experimenting in the gym. If you're not working out at home, there's certain people who will work out at home. If you're working out in a gym, ask questions to some of the trainers. Now I know some of the trainers are kind of like unqualified, but like it still wouldn't hurt to ask them like, okay, I know how to do a barbell squat, and I've been doing that for 6 months, and I think I got it down. But I've never done the pendulum squat that's on the other side of the gym. Okay, start playing around with it. There's so many machines in the gym. Not only that, but start, if there's bar hopping, start gym hopping, bro. Start going to different gyms and see, okay, this gym is a good fit for me. I like the machines that they have there. Or, some people like Planet Fitness, and, it's really nice. Planet Fitness has some pretty good machines. You can go to Planet Fitness and start gym hopping, start looking up certain things on the internet to see, okay, I know how to do a squat. How do I do a Smith machine squat? I've never actually used the Smith machine, So experiment. So maybe 6 months to a year after your beginning, just start changing things up.
Right, I think that's important. So how long would you say to people stick with this, thing that these exercises you found in this split? Like how long do you think people should do that for before they start experimenting with other things?
In my opinion, it depends on the goal.
Right.
Let's say they want to build muscle, right?
Saying I want to build a little muscle and I want to lose a little fat. I'm not trying to do anything crazy, but I'm moving that direction.
You're not into the steroids yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so that's great. You haven't discovered that yet. So what you can
that's
do?
When we come. That's when we invite you back for the second
different episode.
Yeah, advanced episode.
Advanced episode. Listen, my knowledge to that stuff is limited on paper. I don't have any practical application with that.
So
But if, let's say you want to like get into, you know how to do a bicep, you're seeing growth, you haven't really plateaued yet. I wouldn't change anything if you haven't plateaued, but if you're getting bored of something, then yeah, go change it. But don't get bored of it after 2 weeks. You got to give it at least maybe what, 3 months, 4 months, in my
no,
opinion.
Give
I
yourself time to learn it.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
I think at least
Obviously, if your body doesn't agree with a movement, yes, change it. But if you're seeing growth on something, you're very new in the gym, you're very green, then for sure you can
Right.
change it after 4 months.
So
But
Raiden's at a plateau, and for people listening, like if you are making progress, if every week you go in and you're able to do a little bit more weight, you're able to do an extra rep, you don't even feel as tired, your performance is increasing in some way, then if it's not broken, don't fix it. Keep
Exactly.
doing what you're doing.
On the flip side of that is the people who think that muscle confusion is a thing, and you have to constantly
you gotta
change things up.
shock the muscle.
Got to
Right,
shock
you
the
have
muscle, yeah.
Yeah, that whole idea was you have to keep changing things up to keep your body confused, which is pretty much nonsense. We see that you really just want to keep the whole, if you never heard, progressive overload is just the idea that you will need to push your body a little bit more in order for it to adapt and grow muscle. So if you're bench pressing 100 pounds, 1 week, if you're doing 105 the next week and you feel comfortable, that's great. You're
That's
making
great.
progress. So keep going, and eventually you will find a time when you're like, okay, I'm trying to go for a little bit more weight. I'm trying to go for an extra rep. It's not working. I'm stuck, and that's what a plateau is. You're stuck somewhere, and that's kind of when you can go, all right, let me maybe try a different exercise. Let me try something else. See if you can find a way around that.
And speaking of trying new things and for perfecting your form and all that, another thing that new people in the gym always kind of they think is that these big guys in the gym don't like them, or they're looking down on them, or all these things.
Yeah.
A lot of the big guys in the gym, a lot of the people who go to the gym, they are really nice people, and they're happy to see you there, and they are happy to help.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, some of the nicest people you will ever meet are at a gym. Like, if you just ask them, hey, like, I don't really know this exercise very well. Like, what do you know about this? There's a good chance that they will help you out. I mean, the worst they say.
Yeah.
That's something I
and
don't
by
think
all
that's ever
means-
going to end, though. There's
And by
people
all-
who see me in the gym and they know me from TikTok, but then I'll get a DM or I'll get a comment on my video and be like, I was afraid to come up and say hi. So like, if you see a big dude in the gym, I'm not saying that I'm big by any means. I'm only 180 pounds, but if you see a big dude in the gym, don't be afraid to go up and say hi and ask him, oh, you're doing this. How do I do that for me? Like whatever it is.
Yeah,
And by all means, there's going to be the people in the gym that are assholes, and they are a lot less than you think. And if you do end up encountering them, then you're like, okay, I know this guy's an asshole. I didn't want him in my life anyway. You don't want to know him. It doesn't matter that he was an asshole. Just shake it off. Go ask the next guy. The next guy, I promise, will probably like just give you shower you in his information.
Right. One thing I do want to make sure we get to, because I think this is kind of the most important factor in working out, because exercise selection, of course, is important. Your split's important. All these things are important. But what do most people have trouble with when it comes to the gym? What's like the number one thing people have to have issues with? For me, what I've seen at least is just motivation. It's just motivation to go there.
I get a lot of questions about motivation.
That is so I want to hit this and just like try and give some tips, things that work for me, would make it work for you guys. I'm going to say, like, listen, when I'm starting out, like with like workout and everything, I start in one place and no one is ever going to agree with me on this. No one's ever going to agree with me, but I don't care because I'm right. And that is the number one important thing for me, at least, is music. And I know it sounds like people are like, oh, music, what are you talking about? Like, motivation is so tough for people. And I am telling you, there are days where I'm like, I don't really feel like working out. I put on the right song and I go from I don't feel like doing anything to I will eat your soul in front of you if you get in my way or if you look at me weird. Like, I just, finding that music playlist or whatever, put that on just before you go to the gym. Maybe have a little caffeine, maybe have a cup of coffee. If you do pre-workout, if you do whatever, just put some music on, get some energy going, and you'll feel more motivated to go to the gym. For me, that is just super important.
Well, here's the thing. I think we can agree on this. Most people probably listening can agree on this. If you start going to the gym, you're pretty motivated. You're probably going to end up going for a little while before you hit that mental roadblock of,
Right.
why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. Like, but by the time you get to that point, you've probably already made some sort of difference in your body.
Progress.
Noticeably in your lifestyle, noticeably walking up the stairs, noticeably in your clothes, maybe even strength in the gym.
Maybe someone's
And
told you,
so-
hey, you look better. You look like you've been
Yeah,
working out. Like, you know,
Exactly.
something.
So I wouldn't say anything about music. I guess music is one of the ways people can do it. But before I even touch the music, motivation will come and go. It's always going to come and go. Even in the stage that I am in right now, 3 weeks ago, I'm sitting down with the dumbbells in my hands, and I'm just like, bro, I keep doing this every day. This is so freaking annoying. The gym is cold. It's getting cold in the gym. I'm not getting a pump. I've been struggling to get back pumps for a little while. Just all in all, it's just motivation is going to come and go. But the changes that you don't notice yourself, the way you can make yourself notice them, keep the old clothing that you have.
I like that. I think
Keep
that's
the
great.
progress pictures.
Yes,
If you
progress.
can,
Yes.
keep measurements of
Yes.
your body, of like your bicep, your legs, your waist if you're looking to lose weight. Like
Yeah.
all of this
Uh-huh.
stuff,
Yeah.
the moment you start not feeling it, that drive is not there, that fire is starting to dwindle, go put on that same shirt that you once
I think that's great.
fit in,
Yeah.
and now your shirt is too tight because your shoulders are getting bigger. Or, the pants that you lost weight in, go put that on. Don't wear that belt. See how far you've come. Yeah, like,
And
and
I think
then
we should
once you see
mention-
that, just stay consistent with it, because more than just the effort you put into the gym, not every workout's going to be great, but you can still put half the effort into a workout because you're not feeling it, and it's still going to be better than you not doing it at all.
Yeah, I want to say for the people who are starting to lose motivation because they're going through a rough time, you do not have to go to the gym and do a full 1 hour long workout. You can go do one exercise, see how it feels. If you don't feel up to it, you can leave. Maybe you go and you do that exercise and you want to do another one. You can do another one. But try to go and do at least that one exercise, because that keeps the habit going. And again, if you want to leave after that, leave. No one cares.
I think what we really need to mention is, holy shit, I get so many people caught up in the scale weight. Just like, oh, the scale isn't moving. When you are going to the gym, like we said earlier, you look at weights, you sneeze in the gym, you will probably gain some muscle. And as we all know, muscle weighs more than fat, right? A pound of dumbbells weighs more than a pound of FedEx. No, muscle is more dense, so it looks different on your body. And that's why I think progress pictures, like Raiden said, is so important. Where, clothing that you had, that sort of thing, because the scale is going to go up and down, water weight, muscle, fat. It's all over the place. You don't know what's going on, but you're frustrated because the scale is still the same
somewhat
place.
disagree in a way, because the scale doesn't matter in the short term. So how much you weighed yesterday and how much you weigh today and how
Yes,
much you
that's
will
what-
weigh tomorrow
Over the course
is
of a month.
going to change completely. But if you're able to just jot down your weight in your notes, December 1st, 180 pounds,
Yeah.
December 2nd, 179, and don't even look at it. Just what you weigh. Don't look
Yeah.
at it. And keep looking at what you look like in the mirror.
Right.
And then at the end of the month, have it as a check-in day. Be
Yeah,
like,
I think
okay,
that-
this is where I was at the
mean,
beginning.
completely ignore the scale at all. My point was more, just don't get frustrated by it, because I think progress pictures will show you more as time progresses, the difference than the scale itself alone in a vacuum will. So,
Especially if you're trying to look at the scale in the short term.
right. You'll
It's
drive
going to
yourself crazy.
fluctuate all over the place.
Right. So
Hell yeah, well, dude.
it really
Water
is.
weight
And
is
we're a bunch
annoying,
of
but
dudes.
it's there.
Like for women, it's even worse. Like through their menstrual cycle, water weight, and all that, it's just going to fluctuate all over the place.
Mhm.
So I think progress pictures, like he said, and clothing, that sort of stuff, and revel. Like we've talked about this on the podcast before. Revel in the progress that you have made a little bit, because
Yeah.
we get so caught up in so much. I have so much more to go. When you're making progress in the gym, embrace that. Yeah, I think that's super important.
And let's say you're doing all of that and that's still not working. It's always good to share your fitness goals or whatever you're doing at fitness with someone you're comfortable with. Because if you share it with someone you're comfortable with, 9 times out of 10 when you go and have a cup of coffee with them on the next day before you go to work or whatever, they're probably going to ask, did you go to the gym yesterday? What did you do yesterday? Like, or yeah, your clothes are fitting a little loose on you. Like, if you could just share it with somebody you're probably comfortable with, and that person notices whatever you're doing, or they're invested into what you're doing, that's a big drive.
Yeah.
That's accountability.
If you go ahead.
And like we said this pretty early on in our podcast, maybe episode 2, 3, whatever. If you join a community, there's lots of communities out there that you can join, and just you talk to them, that you get a feedback. You show your progress pictures. They congratulate you. They're happy for you.
Absolutely. I think because if you can go to the gym with someone, like that's the most ideal situation, where if you have like a gym buddy that you go with, you hold each other accountable. That's amazing. But a lot of people don't have that. And if you don't have that opportunity, talking to your friends about it, talking to a support group online, something like that, that will absolutely help and still hold you accountable. And maybe if you're talking to your friends, you might get them interested. You might start making progress, and they're like, wait, hold on a second.
That's exactly how I got into the gym, was a friend talking to me about it.
Yeah. And you're like, wait, you're making what kind of gains? What kind of progress? What's going on? What are you doing? How do I get in all this?
And that's the thing. Now I feel on this scale, it's much better. I mean, not 100% okay, but it's much better for comparison. Because you're comparing yourself to someone who's also a layman just like you. Right?
If you try and compare yourself to Instagram people, you are going to have a rough time.
Exactly. You're trying to compare yourself to like Chris Bumstead, Arnold. Most of us are not going to be able to touch that.
Even worse, all the photoshopped stuff out there.
And just all of the stuff out there. It's most of it's marketing, then people trying to gain following. What's it? The thief of what's the famous quote, guys?
The thief. No, shoot. Comparison is the thief of pleasures.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. There it is. And so, it's if you compare yourself to what you were able to do a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, whatever, that will be a much better comparison than the photoshopped images on Instagram.
Exactly.
Their journey is not your journey.
Oh, goodness.
But if you're with a friend, you guys are sharing a journey.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much better when you have someone that you can go with. Like, I really don't have anybody that I go and work out with every once in a while. You want
to be my gym buddy, bro? I've been alone for
I don't either. Okay, we're all getting together and going to the gym now.
Where's the closest center that we can all drive to?
Well, it's got to be in Canada, so we can get some Mr. Bigs afterwards.
Yeah. And we can go watch Canadian football.
You're joking over saying that.
Oh God, it hurts so bad to say.
I'm out of the loop. What's Canadian football? Is that just soccer?
It's the soccer. Don't listen to Rob. It's just soccer. That's all Canadian football. Oh, that's so funny. No, they have their own version of what they call football, and the fact that they can even call it football is kind of a disgrace. But I guess it's illegal.
After this, bro, I'm searching what Canadian football is.
Canadian football goes a lot faster. The plays are a lot faster. It's a lot more exciting.
We had 12 downs and there was 150 yards, and you could just do whatever you want. Like it's. What if we put the goalpost in front of the touch of the end zone for some reason?
Really?
Why not? Why not put that there?
Okay.
It's just nonsense. But anywho.
It's a nice tangent.
Okay, Raiden.
Hit me.
Let's say I'm the newbie now. Liam's no longer a newbie. I'm the newbie now.
Super advanced
now. All right.
Yeah. Let's say I come up to you and I ask, how do I train for my body type, my somatotype?
Sheesh. That's something that I kind of had to like unlearn too, because the moment you see the picture of all the different body types of the three body types, you
Yeah.
start looking at other people's physique
Well,
and seeing where they're on that and where you fall under. And
Yeah.
huh?
a bicep curl is a bicep curl for you and me.
Right.
Yeah.
A bench press is a bench press for both you and me.
Our
It,
muscles grow the exact same way.
yeah, sure. If you get pain, shoulder pain while doing a bench press, then you're probably going to switch over to a machine. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, it's all the same. It's all the same. Training is going to be the same for every single person. I've seen posts on this is how a woman should train based
Right.
on her menstrual cycle, and I'm sitting there like, a bench press is still a bench press whether you're on your period or not. Like, there's no difference or there's no change in exercise selection if your body type is different. Someone who's morbidly obese can still do some form of a bench press in terms of an exercise. So,
For
in my opinion, not even valid in any way, shape, or form.
No.
yeah.
No. And a little history for everybody listening. If you
Yeah.
don't know the origin of somatotypes, they were actually developed by a psychiatrist called William Sheldon. And he used them to, it wasn't even fitness related. He used them to tie personality types to different bodies. And he came up with things like ectomorphs are more likely to be criminals,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it was completely debunked. Like it was just nonsense. It had nothing to do with fitness.
But when they were doing all of that I actually learned about this in my law classes. When they were looking at it at the time, that was science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just crazy.
It was science for him to get a bunch of men to take off their clothes and take pictures of them.
I mean,
Exactly.
That was also part of it.
phrenology was science, where you could judge people's, by their skull shape and the divots
The
in their
skull shape,
skull.
the size
Yeah.
of their skull, whether or
size
not
of the
they're
skull,
more
little-
likely to do a
A
crime or
little
whatever.
bump here. Oh, you're a criminal
Yeah.
because you got a little bump over here.
Yeah. Or you're
Like
more
luggage.
likely to do that because your nose is just a little bit bigger than another person, you know?
That allows me to be racist without saying I'm racist. Yes, perfect. That's what I've been looking for. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, but there's zero
Yeah.
validity. There's no foundation
Yeah.
for that at all.
Okay. Staying on the topic of different body types, I have, let's say I come to you. I have, the 4 fingers for my bicep insertion. Am I screwed for getting bicep gains?
No? If you got a muscle there and you train it, it's gonna grow.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it is true. People's muscles, with the way they're inserted, we're all going to look a little different. Like that's just anatomy. But
hell yeah.
there's a lot of nonsense out there for
Take
weight.
advantage of what
there's-
your body can look like. Be the best version of you, to be honest.
Exactly. 100%.
And there's several Olympians, Mr. Olympias, that have had more than 2 fingers for the bicep insertion.
In my opinion, having I don't measure with bicep insertions with the fingers, but like if you have a short peak of a bicep, in my opinion, I love that. That looks so much better than a one with a long
It does look a lot more full and more peaked, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like it. But then you get most of the people who like long head of the bicep. They like the way that looks because it looks full and extends to the forearm. But
yeah, we're all a little different. Everything's going to be, there's just going to be variation. And don't get caught up in
honestly, be the best that you can be. There's a dude out there right now who just won a competition. I don't know what his name is, but he has such a long neck, and but his neck is like massive. So long neck, massive. The traps come up from it. The dude looks like 3D. Or another person who works with us on Echo, his name is Caije. He has short clavicles, but he won a bodybuilding show because he's taking advantage of his genetics. So all the bodies are going to be different. But if you rock it and you're confident with it and you work on it, dude, you're gonna win. You're gonna be carrying W's. There's no
Confidence plays such a huge role in it.
One thing I'm
100%, dude.
because I know we get asked about it just constantly. Is it for someone starting out? This is not someone who has been in the gym for years. Someone just starting out. What do you recommend for in terms of like supplements? Is there anything that people right off the bat? Because I know we're gonna get asked about that a ton.
You know who I rep, kind of wearing the shirt of them right
Yes.
now. But honestly, we're all natties here, so creatine, protein powder.
Yeah.
If you're a beginner in pre-workout, on the lighter
Yeah.
side of stim free or something, no more than maybe 200, 250 milligrams of caffeine.
Personally, I tell people to get stim free and just buy caffeine pills separately. And then you can measure out your caffeine individually.
Yeah.
You can do that. I wouldn't. I'm not opposed to it, but there's
And what
nothing
else?
wrong with pre-workout. I feel like people
No.
think that
Right.
you gotta, if you take it, you're gonna be hooked on it, and then you're gonna have bad workouts when you're not taking it. This week alone, I had 3 workouts where I didn't take any pre-workout. All I did was some handful of salt, drinking some water, and then went,
Yeah.
you know. So I don't see any wrong with taking a pre-workout because there's certain companies out there that are really good with it. You know, Ecovision's phenomenal with it, and we have so many at this point where you can pick and choose. But good pre-workout, if you're a beginner, something stem-free or something on the lighter side, and then protein powder and creatine. Honestly, I don't think you need anything else. You could throw in a multivitamin in there too if you want to, but
I think creatine is one of the only
you can
sports
go.
supplements to shown to be effective time and time again. Monohydrate, whatever's cheap, and third party tested, it doesn't really matter. Protein powder, the one you like, there's all sorts of different flavors and stuff like that. Just find something you like that can help. Do you need protein powder? Of course you don't. You can get it from food. It's just a convenient source of protein.
What I hate is people calling protein powder a supplement. Because it's not supplemental. It is a meal. It is protein. It is
food.
It's food.
I'm actually
it's
going
a meal
to disagree.
replacement.
I'm going to disagree with that. Wow.
You call this? I always thought it was weird calling it a supplement.
It's okay. So look, if you get something like concentrate, or no, okay. How do we? So concentrate is not that bad either. But if you get something like isolate, that's just straight protein. Usually, it's not going to have anything else in it. And 1 to 2 scoops is like maybe 250 calories. That's not a meal. Now, what you can do is you can turn it into a meal.
Right,
you can very much turn it into a meal. And in doing so, let's say I make protein pancakes, right? I make protein pancakes, roughly 50 grams of protein. And, banana on the side, you got your protein yogurt on the side, and then you got you got an avocado, right? There you go. You got your breakfast. Now it's turned into a meal.
We don't olive oil is just fat, but we don't say that olive oil is a fat supplement. We say it's food.
Olive oil, I understand, but olive oil is not a supplement. That itself would be classified as food. I see where you're coming from, and I'm not.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess I won't die on this hill.
or not, it's pedantic. It doesn't really matter.
Like for me, if it's got calories and it's counting towards your caloric value for the day, then that is part of your eating. Like that's part of your eating patterns.
I guess you're right in some way. I would still disagree because at least in my own philosophy, if it's solely just like the protein powder, if it's solely just one of the macros, little to none for the others, it's more so of a supplement in terms of buying it off of like a GNC shelf. Whereas olive oil, you're going to get in an aisle 10 of your local grocery store right next to other spices.
So yeah, I mean, whether it's a supplement or not, protein I think it's a good option. It can help.
It's phenomenal, yeah.
Protein goals. People will probably ask, so yeah.
Definitely don't shy away from it.
0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight or ideal body weight. Would you say, is that generally kind of like where you fall?
Yeah. 0.8 to 1.2 generally. If you're heavy, if you're overweight in the sense of you have excess body fat, try to gauge your lean body mass.
Right.
You know, there's things on Google you can find out, and just that's an estimate.
Right.
Or if you were, what's it?
Well, while you're doing that, everyone else listening, when you after you're done listening, head over to the Patreon and let us know, what do you think? Is protein powder a meal or a supplement?
Vote. We can vote.
Vote. I'm going to put a poll up when I
think
when
there's
I
a good
post
argument
this.
for both, so I'd be interested to see what.
Yeah.
So somewhere around 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight where you're trying to be, because if you're 400 pounds, you don't need to be just shoveling in protein.
Yes.
Like,
the important thing is like your goal, using your goal weight for these calculations.
If you want to look
especially
up my lean body mass, how much muscle do I have, and you want to go off that, that's fine too. Just don't be shoveling in protein because you think you need to go super saiyan, especially when you have excess body weight. That excess body fat, that is stored energy that your body can use.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be going especially crazy with the protein. The protein can go towards muscle building, whereas you have all this extra energy that can go towards other things. And then, we said creatine, caffeine, it depends on the person. Some people, I do a lot of caffeine. Obviously, you hear me talk. So, I mean, the most they recommend in a day is 400 milligrams. Like I probably get close to that, I'm not going to lie. And
a very important thing with caffeine is that the tolerance is highly individual.
Yes.
And that's especially why I personally say
I'm wired for hours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
I'm not affected by caffeine. I've taken a full gram before and just been like, it did nothing.
So you have people literally on this podcast right now. We have someone like Raiden.
Try that at home.
Do not try that at home. Yes. Do not try that at home.
You'll be wired out, most of you. You have people like Raiden, who's very affected by caffeine. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle where I definitely
adenosine receptors are very very sensitive.
Exactly.
Yes,
and then it's an adult. So you have to find.
It's highly likely that I have a genetic variation that metabolizes caffeine super fast. It gets it out of my system, and I just don't feel it. So do not go out and do 1 gram of caffeine, people.
You just haven't accepted yet that you're addicted to the caffeine.
Maybe it's just I'm always caffeinated. Like I don't even know it. It's so slow. It's just releasing slowly into my bloodstream.
I have a caffeine drip. Caffeine, find out kind of what works for you. I generally like around 200 milligrams when I go to the gym, like 150, 200 milligrams, somewhere there is awesome. So find what works for you. And outside of that, you really don't need, you're going to see so many supplements for everything from fat burners to, you've all seen it, BCAAs, all this stuff you really don't need. Most of it, just stick with the basics, especially when you start out. Just exercise. Sleep is the supplement I would recommend.
Sleep is a performance-enhancing drug.
It's the best performance-enhancing drug. It would be banned by WADA if it was an actual supplement.
I would see it. That would definitely. Now, here's my question to you, because I have the answer to this, and I've told many people this, but if someone has a terrible night of sleep, they probably got 5 hours collectively, maybe 4.5 hours collectively. Should they skip the gym on the day that they're supposed to work out, or should they go back home, take a rest day, go catch up on the sleep, and then resume the workout the very next day?
So I work in sleep medicine. I encourage people to get enough sleep, like at work. That is my job. So if I'm not telling people to get sleep, I don't know what I'm doing. I always tell people sleep is so important, because I would assume, even if you're working out and your lack of sleep, how much muscle building are you going to get off that? I mean, it's definitely going to be impaired. I'll tell you that much. If you're only sleeping a few hours, how much muscle you're actually going to build is going to be impaired. So I would say get your sleep.
What about you, Rob?
I would say you'd have to assess your cognitive function at that point. If you're feeling lethargic, and you're barely able to think, you've got cloudiness in the mind and stuff like that, at the very least, go take a nap. If not, take the rest day and just focus on getting a good sleep that night. Some people can do a lot better on that little of sleep, for at least for a single night, not collectively over and over again. If you're collectively having that bad of a sleep over and over again, please go see a doctor.
Talk to Liam.
Yeah,
Talk to Liam.
If you're only sleeping like 4 hours a night every night, boy,
Shameless
you got some
plug.
problems. Go talk to your doctor. Seriously, get a sleep study. Come see me. I'll run it.
But yeah, if you still have a decent cognitive function, if you're not foggy minded or any of those symptoms, you can go to the gym and see how you feel. Again, if you do a couple sets and you're just kind of like zoning out on them and stuff like that, get out of there. Get out
That's
of
some insomnia level explanation, bro.
there.
Meanwhile, Raiden's about to tell us, stop being a bitch and get your ass in the gym.
No.
Get in there. Go to the gym. Spit my water out.
There's a difference between getting the 8 hours and feeling tired still, and sleeping for 5 hours and not getting enough.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, if you got that 8 hours and you're still feeling tired, we can improve the quality of your sleep, but you should still go work out.
Yeah.
However, if you've gotten just that 4.5 hour sleep, there was little to no repair that happened in those 4 hours.
Yeah.
Go and sleep.
I think sleep, it's so underrated. It really is. And people struggle with it, I know, but just to do the best you can, because it really is incredibly important.
Do you guys, what's the age range of who you coach?
Who I coach?
Yeah, both of you guys. All right. Does he do Liam? You coach? No.
My age range typically is around 30 to 60.
Oh, wow. So we have different demographics.
Yep.
I mean, you still probably have people who are beginners who want to hit the gym.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if that's the case, have you ever gotten questions where people ask, should I invest in lifting straps or wrist wrap?
Usually it's the other way around. They start talking about how their grip is going, and I'm like, well, you can try lifting straps if you want. I mean, it's the same thing where it's a beginner is having a trouble, and you give them the solution because they don't know about lifting straps, right?
Do you think it's necessary for someone who's new into the gym to invest in that type of equipment?
Depends on their goal.
What would the goal be? Like the same way we were doing before, like they're a beginner, they want to build muscle, lose fat.
Build muscle, lose fat. Then by all means, like if they're having problems with grip, then a lifting strap would be helpful. You don't need to be concerned about your grip when you're doing deadlifts, if you're building for muscle and health and stuff. You only need it if you're going for like competition.
Okay. I guess you and I pretty much agree with how many people that I butt heads with online when they tell me on my videos that you're working at your forearms, ditch the lifting straps. Like if you're lifting for your I don't know, hammies, you're doing an SLDL, you don't need to grip the weight as hard as you can if you're trying to focus on building your hamstrings.
Exactly.
Right. Well, you want to help the limiting factor. Like your forearms will probably give out before your lats will.
So yeah, for people that have trouble with grip, or if you think that you need a lifting strap, like we just said, you were going to that gym and you're trying to work on a specific muscle, you don't need to worry about your grip. Unless you're going for competition where you are not allowed lifting straps, you can use lifting straps. And I guess belts too. We should touch on belts.
We could do belts. Bro, I've worn a lever belt and I've worn a regular belt, and I mean you got to learn how to brace before you use a belt though.
Right. That's kind of my issue. So like it kind of is like, not maybe a crutch is a wrong word, but like something like that, you just rely on it, where it's like you really should learn how to kind of.
Yeah, I see a lot of beginners go into the gym and they think they have to throw the belt on because they see everybody else throwing the belt on. And it's kind of just loosely sitting on them because they don't know how to brace into it. They don't know how to put it on properly. At which point, there's no point putting the belt on.
The explanation, well, the scientific term is the Valsalva maneuver.
Yeah.
But the explanation on how to do that is so simple. And I tell people just one way. Literally, imagine that you're taking a dump, you're constipated, and you can't push, and it's not coming out. That's how you brace. that's how you brace. And then, I mean, that's going to
Just
stick
don't accidentally poop yourself.
Yeah,
well, obviously, yeah. You know, clench the sphincter. But like everything else, literally, that's just how you brace. You're supposed to hold your breath during the most intense part of the movement, and then you exhale as you're beginning to let go and do another repetition. That's how you brace. But now when you're wearing a belt, now it's different. Now you're bracing, but you're bracing pushing into the belt. The belt is going to get tighter when you brace. That's what it's meant to do, and that's how it stabilizes you. However, when you've never learned how to brace, and when it's just wrapped around your waist and it's loosely sitting there, and you're doing bicep curls, that's not doing anything for you, and you don't need it.
I remember what I wanted to go over. Okay, this is something I get asked a bunch, is how long should you spend at the gym, or like how many sets you should do? It's something I get asked a decent amount. And I would say when you're starting off, you don't need to do like 2-hour long sessions. Like 20, 30 minutes, as far as like how many sets, it kind of just depends on the person. But like, Rain, what would you tell people, like if they ask like, hey, how many sets should I do in like a day for a muscle, something like that?
Here's the thing, beginners are not gonna be able to train to failure. There's gonna be, I'm not gonna say little to no intensity, but they're still gonna grow. You're going to grow.
Yes.
Whether you train until like somehow you have the ability, you're new, you have that ability to train until absolute failure as a beginner, which is not gonna happen.
No.
If you have that ability, you're gonna gain the same amount of muscle, in my opinion, than if you were to do it as a normal person, as a beginner going into the gym. Now, for the amount of sets, I can tell on paper 2 sets, 5 to 9 reps. This is the sweet spot. We can talk about the whole mechanical tension thing, but forget that. Let it. As much as I hate to say it, if you're absolutely new and you don't have a coach, stick with the 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Get the pump in there, learn what it feels like to burn, do a burnout, do a finisher set. None of these stuff is optimal. You're not looking for optimability. You're looking for how the heck does my body respond to a bicep curl?
Going back to the you won't be able to do to failure full intensity as a beginner. It's because your brain literally has to make the pathways to do that exercise effectively. And you only do that by learning the exercise, doing it over and over again. That's how you get better at something. That's how you get better at everything.
Right. So I just want to make sure people understand, like when you start off, as we said, you gain weight or you gain muscle fairly easily by pushing your body in anyway. So whether people think like, oh, if I do 20 sets, I'll get 4 times as much gains as if I do 5 sets. And I want to say that is emphatically false. If you are doing, 5 sets and you're, pushing yourself as hard as you can for whoever that is, you are going to gain muscle. Are you going to gain a lot more by doing 10, 15, 20? Probably not. Eventually you hit what we would call junk volume, which is where you're just throwing shit at the wall and your body is just starting to break down even more. You give yourself body time, sleep, repair, and then your body, and that's how you gain muscle. So don't be
best thing I could say, don't do a million sets, don't do a million movements. Pick 2 exercises for each muscle.
Yeah, I love that. See,
2 exercises for each muscle.
I'm going to repeat that. Pick a couple exercises for each muscle, do a few sets, push yourself to as much as you can, relatively, and then you do that over time. And that is it. There's so much crap out there that you'll see about all these little things you have to do. Do that, especially at the beginning, and you're doing awesome.
And then hit your calves.
And then do a calf day and get out of there. Calf day should be at least 5 hours. 42 to 95 reps somewhere.
42.
42.
Oh, here I am
Now,
doing like 4 sets.
just, couple exercises, push yourself relatively hard. Smith machine is great. Any machines are great. If you prefer free weights, do those. Don't overcomplicate it, and just do that over time. Do a little bit more each week, and you're doing amazing.
And if you ever have questions, my DMs are always open. My page is always there. I mean, I answer almost every comment I can, every DM
now
I can.
now you got to tell everybody where to find you.
Plug your page. That is that time.
Instagram and TikTok, both at Raiden Cage.
You might want to spell that.
REDAINCAIJE. All lowercase. Both Instagram, both TikTok. It's there.
Yes.
Like we were saying, the big guys at the gym, they are usually helpful. They usually want to help you. They love to see you at the gym.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, bro. I feel like this is a great guide. Someone could just download this podcast as they should and keep it in your phone. And whenever you're driving, or you're doing your cardio, and you got an hour, literally just listen to this.
Yeah.
Listen to the sound of my sweet voice telling you all the answers for free.
and go Knights or whatever my mascot was. I don't remember.
Oh, Rutgers? Oh, yeah, no.
We're going to look that up, and it's going to be completely wrong or something.
It's not, bro. It's not.
Are we sure? What mascot?
Scarlet Knights. Scarlet Knight.
Scarlet Knights. Okay, we'll give it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Great. Hold on. I don't want to get like canceled by.
Go Knights.
Yeah, there you go. It's a Scarlet Knight right there. I'll leave it on it has nothing to do with fitness or anything, but it's something that my math teacher told me in high school that has nothing to do with fitness, but it's something that we can leave on for people to ponder. Okay? I actually said it in your live the other day, if you remember, about going north.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
So for the listeners, if you go north, you'll eventually go south. But if you go east, you will never go west. And with that, I bid you farewell.
Some kind of round earther?
You believe in the earth?
So think about
it's
that.
Terra.
So think about that time. Every time you're at the gym, and that is the key to gaining muscle.
The key to gaining muscle: go north and then south, and east, but not west.
Okay.
That sounds almost sounds like a code for my controller: up, down, right or left, A, B, select, start.
I'm not
it's God mode, right?
Let's go.
I'm not kidding.
So you don't know the Konami code?
No.
Well, that's unfortunate. It's the God mode code.
Okay.
And you almost described it. Almost.
I almost did, but that's the key to success for fitness. That's as much as I can give for right now before I start charging you guys.
Oh, well, then get out of here. We've got no money, so this podcast is over now.